Do you have this haircut? Is this the haircut that you've been rocking for a long time and you're just like, you know what? I'm getting tired of this, but I don't want to cut a lot of hair off. Well, today's haircut tutorial is going to be perfect for you because I'm going to show you how you can take that, longer cropped fringe haircut and how you can turn it into something magical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I've been doing, and I hope you're enjoying these videos because I'm having a lot of fun doing these, is just a full-on haircut. So I'm using my carbon comb. This is a great, listen to this thing. No mannequins were hurt during that. He's fine. But this is a great comb because one, it's carbon. So if you do have any product in your hair and you gotta get through that hair, because if you take a hair cutting comb to this, it's just gonna rip out and you'll probably break the comb in half. So I'm using this to get through a lot of that product that I had from before. And the next thing I'm looking to do is I'm looking to see where the hair grows, right? And where the parting is. It looks like to me that the natural part kind of wants to go over this way, and you can find that, but if you split the hair, it wants to kind of work its way over this way. Let's see. Or does it go this way? Let's see here. So let's comb this over. So yeah, this hair wants to fall here. So it's got kind of like an off-center parting, but I want to keep a lot of volume and texture in here. So when you go against the grain or against the way the hair grows, then it's going to get more volume, as you can see through here. So I'm going to be utilizing my clippers, and I'm going to be taking this like not super short, but I'm going to start with a number 4 guard. And the number 4 guard is a good place to start. Now I'm also going to do this on dry hair. You always want to make sure if you're watching this video and you're cutting someone's hair and you're cutting someone's hair from home or something, you always want to use the clippers on dry hair. Trust me when I say that. Simply because on dry hair, you're going to be able to get the clipper through the hair a lot easier. So I've got my number 4 guard here. I'm just going to kind of comb this out of the way a little bit so I can have a clear vision of where I'm cutting at right there. And here we go. Now 4 guard may not do much of anything, but that's fine because I want to work this up to where maybe the 4 guard is like the shortest that I go. And I'm utilizing the comb as kind of like a barrier to make sure that I don't go any higher than I need to. So let's do a number 4 guard is going to be the longest that we do. And they can just flick that up a little bit right there. So we're going to go number 4 guard into probably a number 2 throughout the bottom. So I'm just going to bring this all the way up to that one point of the highest point, which is right here. And this is the mannequin Jake, which I've been using a lot. Now this is probably to me, and you can't unfortunately buy these over, this company doesn't sell to consumers, Burmax. They really market towards beauty schools, huge, large educational brands, things like that. I was very lucky to be able to work something out where I could purchase these for my videos. I did have to buy a handful in bulk, but they're really, really amazing mannequins. And the reason why I say they're so realistic is because the hair, the density of the hair, the thickness of the hair, it's real human hair. And honestly, when you're getting hair splinters, it's the real deal. So this mannequin Jake is pretty thick. So I'm going to go down to now a number 2 guard. All right, and the 2 guard is probably where I'm going to want it to be the shortest, maybe aside from down in the very, very bottom. But yeah, so 2 guard is going to work out nicely right in through here. And now I'm going to work that right throughout the bottom and just kind of blend that in lightly right there. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't want to see a lot of skin like your scalp, then a number 2 is a good place to start. Anytime you start to go in the 1s, you're definitely going to start to see some of that scalp on your head, and to you it may look too short. But then again, once you get maybe a number 1 and you may like how it lasts or how it grows out, you may say, oh man, I've been missing out. These number 2s or number 3s aren't doing it for me. So I got to go all in and get a 2 or a 1, even a 0, as long as the person cutting your hair can blend it all in, you know. So, all right, so now I'm just, and these are new clippers. You may see that I'm using something different than I usually do. This is the brand TPOB. Yeah, T as in Tango, P as in Peter, O as in Oscar, B as in Bravo, TPOB. And I like these. They're quiet. They get the job done. They're sharp. These are really good. So now I'm going to move this up to like a number 3. You can move this up basically one whole guard, which is really cool. So I'm able to immediately blend this in right into this part right in here. So I really do like these, to be honest with you. So this haircut, and let me know in the comments below if you're enjoying these different camera angles. You know, this is tens and tens of thousands of dollars worth of cinema camera that I have, because I used to do a lot more production stuff for big brands and companies, and I said, you know what, I have all this camera gear, why not utilize it for myself? So I went all in on, and you can watch, if you want a behind the scenes video, go to my Instagram, TheSalonGuy, and I just posted a behind the scenes video of what this all really looks like, and you're probably going to be like in shock. But yeah, I put a lot of effort into this, so I hope you all enjoy this. Cool, so now I'm just working this in, and let's go down to a number, let's see, a 1. Do I have a 1 somewhere around? I know I do. Actually, you know what? No, I could use this as a 1. This is a 1 right here. So let's just get rid of that sideburn right there. And just going to go around the ear. I forgot, the cool thing about this clipper is you can make this a number 1. Because when you raise the blades all the way up, it actually turns into a number 1, which is like pretty rare. Okay. So all the way up with a number 1. And I'm just going to flick that out a little bit, just to make it a little bit softer. Right here. So again, this is something, if you're doing this at home, it's going to take some time, experience, utilizing these different tools. But, you know, I do know a lot of you do like to cut hair watching my videos, so I appreciate that. But if you're a professional watching this, then that's awesome. All this stuff could be learned over time as you practice, right? All of this requires just practice and doing it all over and over and over and over again. I know you're probably thinking, oh, you just cut mannequins. But being that I'm running, you know, multiple aspects in my business, I only dedicate so much time to making videos, and I post videos 5 days a week. So, all right, let's get this sideburn off here, and let's go around the ear. Now, traditionally, you would use like a trimmer for this, which I do have, but just it's in the other room. But I can get this just as close here, so this will work out just fine. All right. Just cleaning that up right there. Now let's go back in right here and just make that a little bit shorter. Yeah, you know, I really do like these clippers. I really, really do like these clippers. All right, so this is done here. And now the rest of this, for the most part, is going to be done by hand. I'm just going to clean off my hands because I am going to get hair splinters. I can feel it. And if you're a professional, a barber, I know that's why barbers wear gloves. You're probably thinking it's to be, sanitary. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's because these damn hair splinters are the worst. And any barber, any professional hairstylist, you all know that if you are cutting hair, I've seen professionals, they tell me, if a hairstylist, she's wearing like open toe shoes or something like that, I've heard, oh, I got a hair splinter on my toe. All it takes is one little friggin' piece of hair to make it like impossible. And yeah, it's not fun. Now, here we go. This is gonna be the fun part. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to start to work this side in. It doesn't matter what side, but I'm gonna start to work this side in, because this is the side where I'm going to be parting it over this way. So I'm gonna cut this basically as high as the hair wants to fall in here. That's the key part of this. If you have a barber or somebody who makes this so low that, and I've seen this before, where the barber, he blow dries this and uses so much product to get it to stay, where the part is like way down here, where, watch what happens. That hair just wants to flop down. So what you need to make sure that's being done is that the hair is being cut up to the point to where it wants to naturally split and go over, so there's no challenges as far as like the hair wanting to fall down. And let me know in the comments below if that's kind of like a big aha moment for you, because it's not uncommon, and I've seen it literally firsthand where people are doing that, and I'm like, dude, the parting is like a little bit low. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna have to do so much work to get that to maneuver itself up. He's gonna need crazy glue for that to stay. So that's something that really has been a big challenge, And a lot of this, like I mentioned, I'm gonna leave a good amount of length throughout the top, but in some areas I am and some areas I'm not. Notice that I'm doing this whole thing on dry hair. I haven't once wet the hair down at all. I will at some point, but I'm really just trying to see how the hair is falling in certain shapes. Now, watch. Because I cut this high enough, look how now this hair goes over and it wants to maneuver over much easier. You can see that right in through here. It just wants to go right over. Okay, so now let's work this back like this. And here we go. This is the other side now, which is going to be a little bit heavier. So there's going to be a little more hair on this side. So you want to just, push this longer hair out of the way. Again, if this is a haircut that you're doing, say for someone in the house, right? Your husband or your son or whatever. I've been cutting hair for 30 plus years. I always say, yes, try a professional first, and I understand if you've tried a professional and you've had a bad experience. I apologize. And it's because of all of you who have watched my videos and bought my products, that I appreciate that. And if you're able to follow along and do all this stuff on your own, then good for you. I mean, it's not the easiest to learn how to do scissor over comb like this, or all these techniques that take us all years and years and years to practice. I've seen a lot of at-home haircut butcher jobs where they think it looks okay, but then when I'm looking, I'm like, oof, they left like a harsh line in the hair, it wasn't blended, it wasn't faded enough. I mean, I've seen some butcher home jobs that appear to look good at first, but then it's like, you go under the hood and you're like, oh boy, that's not looking too good. So, all right, now I'm gonna wet the hair a little bit. And this is where we're gonna start to now work in the top. Also, this is my anti-static vent brush, literally the best brush I've ever used. And the reason I am pushing this brush is because, yes, this is my own mold. This is my own now custom brush, and it's the best vent brush I've ever used. This is not a Denman brush. Okay, I had one person out of the thousands of these that I've sold, one person said, oh, the bristles aren't firm enough. I'm like, well, what do you expect this to be, like Thor's hammer? This is an anti-static vent brush. It's different than a Denman brush. So if you're expecting that Denman brush where this doesn't, I mean, these bristles do bend a little bit. And they've got the nice soft rubber little tips that are okay for the scalp, so it doesn't hurt your scalp. But if you want a super firm Denman brush, this isn't it. But I don't use those because these get through the hair much easier, right? I don't like Denman brushes for that reason. I can style this and do whatever I need a lot easier. So, you know, that's why I like this style of brush. Okay, so now that the hair is damp, and if you're following along trying to do this, this is a good time to dampen the hair after you've used the clippers. Again, because you don't want to be using clippers on wet or damp hair because it's going to get stuck. The motor, the blades aren't going to get through as well. And now I can start to work the actual shape in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to comb this and try to find, like I mentioned before, because the hair is wet, I can manipulate the hair much easier. I'm going to look and see how much hair I need to take off on top. And right now what I'm doing is I'm following the head shape and I'm rounding this out. If you're somebody who has a flat back of the head, you may need to leave this a bit longer, okay? So if you cut it too short, you're not gonna have, but if you wanna build weight, you have to actually leave it longer and graduate it down this way because that's gonna give you that more volume. Okay, so here we go. And if you have a calic or a swirl, because I get a lot of people watching that say, oh, I have a calic or I have a swirl in the head. Well, you know, this is a good way, a good spot, because a lot of people have them right here, is you have to comb it in the direction that it, you know, the calic is going or swirling. So like right here, I'm going to comb it down and around. When you fight against things like that, calics, it's just going to want to stick straight up. So you got to go with the grain on that one. So for this haircut, what I want to do is I want to work this going kind of forward and then up over here. So right now what I'm doing is I'm combing this now horizontally, aka straight across. I'm just going to lower this slightly, just a little bit. I'm combing this straight across and I'm cutting horizontally. Now, the longer you leave this on top, this is a key aha moment right here. The longer you leave this on top, the better the chances that the hair is going to lay down flat, okay? Because you're going to have that weight and that length, you can maneuver the hair. If you cut the hair this way, where you're working kind of forward, and you leave a little bit of length, but you're kind of going towards the way the hair grows, and the way it wants to flow forward, it's going to lay much flatter. That's just a pro tip that is really going to be helpful. So now we're in the very, very front, and I did mention I'm going to leave a little bit of length throughout the front. And the front, once again, is if you leave the front too long, then it's, you know, it's going to be too long for it to stay and have that volume. If it's too short, it's going to fall flat this way. So I'm trying to create a length that you can also have a little bit of texture if you want, but also something that's going to kind of go back somewhat easy. All right, now I'm going to do the corners. And this is crucial, okay? This is crucial. This is where everything kind of connects right into here. And I always like to cut, for the most part, 90% of the time, I'm cutting more of a rounded shape in through here, or I'm just getting rid of the corners because as the hair grows out, it grows out the best. If you have a haircut where a certain type of shape is put in, sometimes the haircut grows out very awkwardly. So I'd rather have somebody come in, I don't know, 5 weeks, 6 weeks from now, and I'm like, wow, your hair looks amazing. And they're like, yeah, it's how you cut it. And I'm like, okay. So here, I'm going to take those corners and the sides and blend it right in to this by just scissor over combing. And here I am just working this up like so I can take off that weight right in through there. And that's what's going to give it a really, really soft blend, right? A really, really nice soft blend. Now watch, as I comb this, look how nicely that's laying down, right? It's laying down perfectly, contouring the head shape, and we are good to go. And then this is where, once again, you know, if there's any sort of weight lines or anything, this is where you take it all out right in through here, because this is where the top, the corners, and the sides meet. And if they're meeting for the first time, they may be in shock. Who are you? Well, let's become friends, and then you blend it all in. We have to do this side, the most important side, right? And also the very, very front. So here is the side that we were like, oh boy, if we cut this too short, or if we leave it too long, or the parting's too low, we're going to have a little bit of an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this over, and I'm going to kind of see where this hair wants to naturally split. But I also want to have enough length, and this is where I'm going to work in that tip that I talk about is, you know, sometimes your body position is just as crucial. So let's step on this side right here, and I'm going to comb the hair down like this. And I'm going to comb this hair and cut it working towards the face like so, just so I can have this a bit flatter and closer to the head. And let's bring this over this way. So I'm kind of over directing this way, pulling towards me. And now I'm going to comb this because I want to make sure that the hair is laying flat and perfect. So now what I've done is I've created an awesome blend, and look how nice that follows the contour of the head. It's beautiful. So now I can work in any sort of, you know, little lines or anything, or any weight lines. I can just blend that right in now using scissor over comb, because the top is exactly where I want it. And you're basically home free now because everything's going to lay perfect. And here we go. I'm just kind of working this in to that area. And now let's go to the very, very front. So the very, very front, let's pull this all straight down, and I'm going to cut this straight across like so. It's a little too long for my liking for this style. I'm going to cut that corner right there, and let's bring this down. So as you can see, if you do want to wear the hair forward like that, check that out. You have a little bit of a soft kind of textured fringe right there, if you want to have the hair forward. Now, here comes the Mohawk money piece. Bring this right in the middle, and look at all that weight that needs to come off. I heard somebody say once, this other hairstylist named Ryan, funny dude, he was like, this is like Ozempic for hair. I was like, oh my God, that's funny. That is really, really funny. I never heard that before. So yeah, this is like thinning the hair. Not even thinning, it's leaning the shape out. And I'm loving this so far. One last little touch is I am going to blow dry all this, and then let's get all this hair out of here. This is, you want to keep, if you're working on clients, you know how many times I've seen people cutting hair and the client is covered in damn hair, their mouth everywhere for like 25 minutes? Always clean everything off. All right, here we go. So let's spray some Tidal Wave on just to add a little bit of texture. And we're going to blow dry this with my blow dryer. And the one thing I want you to pay close attention to is I'm going to blow dry this all forward. This one side, I'm going to blow dry it all forward. Right here. All forward, because I want this to kind of flow into everything else. All right, I am loving how this looks. I mean, this looks phenomenal, man. Look at this. This is with this is only with Tidal Wave, but no styling product. So this is what I'm going to do, that last bit of effort right here. So I'm taking my thinning shears right here. These are the ones that have the special teeth. I'm going to comb this all down, and I'm going to just look for areas that need to be softened. This is putting the icing on the cake. This always has to be done on dry hair. Dry hair only, because when the hair is dry is when it lays its most natural, and it exposes the bulk, the heaviness. And this hair, I've thinned this, these mannequins, these Jake mannequins, I've cut this thing now, this one particular mannequin, I'd probably say at least, I don't know, 4 times. This is my 4th haircut on this thing. I've thinned this beyond belief, and it still has a ton of hair, which is like insane. So yeah, kind of crazy. But this is all about feeling the bulk. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of grab the hair like so and let it fall into, let me turn the mannequin so I can see. There we go, that's better. So now I'm just going to work this in. And if you have like super thick hair on top, look how much you can see from the overhead view. I am chunking this thing, man. I'm really taking off a lot of hair, but I'm not going down to the scalp because I don't want to make the hair look thin. The scalp look like the hair is thinning. I want to remove a lot of this weight from the top and the middle. And look at this. Look at all that hair. Boom. The more you do this, the more texture you're going to get in the hair, the less bulky it's going to be, and the more you can actually piece things out a bit, right? You can piece it out, you can make it a bit softer. Let's do one last blow dry, because you're gonna have hair everywhere. Get all that hair out of there. Perfect. Now, take a look at how I've shaped this to where, just by doing that, look at all this amazing texture right into here. Right? Look at all this amazing texture. And I mean, like, you could style this so many different ways, but look at that. Look how awesome that is. Now let's go and use some product. I'm going to be using my Beach House. This is my new sea salt hair powder called Beach House. Kind of a compliment to Tidal Wave, the highest quality sea salt spray, or the sea salt you can use. We're going to dab this on. More and more people are starting to finally use this and see this, but it's a very unique product. It's got an awesome, really light scent to it, and this really does work the hair and transform the hair. So sprinkle it on. It's snowing on the head, and then boom, you can work this right in. A lot of texture, a lot of great hold. And let's work this area down right into here. Look how that lays nice and flat there. And I mean, this is absolutely perfect. Look at this. You can see right here, here's where the hair parts, and here is where I decided that the hair just flows right in. Okay, see that right there? Look how nice and flat that looks on the corners. And then here is where you can add the texture on the sides. And I mean, this is, I know it may be to some of you like a classic, like, oh, I've had this haircut for 25 years already. But you know, this is hopefully a different level of this haircut that you can experience. And if you want, this is a bit more conservative, but watch this. Let's just say we want to mess this up a little bit. You want to go wild. So now let's just bring this all forward. We can add a bit more texture. If you want to add more of like a faux hawk type of look, you want to add more pieciness to it, then you can do that, right? You can totally go for a more spiked, pieced out look, just like that. And look how much more texture there is now, right? So between the haircut, the styling products, you know, this is really pretty much good to go. Now, one added bonus, if you're somebody who does cut hair at home, or you are a professional and you want to learn more about haircut shapes, square, round, triangular, all that stuff, I have $10 ebooks that you can purchase right here. I have, I think, 4 or 5 digital products now that I've created. One for men's hair, learning haircut shapes and the best face shapes for those haircuts, only $10. It's a downloadable PDF. You can purchase it right here under View Products on the screen. I have one for women's hair. I have a lookbook. I have these new, what are they, cards? Like these hair, I have a wolf cut where it's just like, I think it's like 10 images. It's like trading cards. There's just 10 images. And again, I think it's like $10. So I'm really trying to offer some awesome digital products. If you want to purchase my powder, you want to purchase any of my other products, the blow dryer, you can shop right here or shop.thesalonguy.com. So let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy these camera angles. I have a lot of fun doing this stuff, but thank you all for your support, and I'll see you all soon.